and welcome to the maintenance webinar with me, Claire Hall. Today we're going to be looking at how you can use COHO to streamline and automate processes when dealing with maintenance issues. Maintenance issues can be raised by yourselves as managers. Tenants can also log maintenance issues either via their My COHO dashboard or by using reporting links and QR codes. You can also send maintenance issues through COHO directly to suppliers, and you can also involve owners of the properties. We'll also be covering auto response messages, troubleshooting cards, and we have an integration with Help Me Fix. The first thing that we're going to cover is how you navigate to the maintenance panel and the options with filtering options that you do have there. So if we look at this account now, we are on the main portfolio page. So we can either scroll down the page and we will find the maintenance panel, or we can click the maintenance bar at the side there, which will naturally navigate us down the page to the maintenance panel and open the panel up for us. So what we can see here is we've got a blue button there to add a new maintenance issue. We've also got some filtering options at the top here. So I have mine set to all, which means I can see all maintenance issues. But if maintenance issues have been assigned to you, you might want to look at mine. You also might want to look at mine and unassigned, or just any issues that are just unassigned. We also do have property tagging in the system as well. So if you have used any property tagging, you will also see all of the tags at the bottom, and then you will look at the maintenance issues that have been tagged with that relevant tag. We've got a second box here, which shows us all the properties that we've got on the account. So if we want to just look at the maintenance issues for a particular property, we can filter by that particular property. We've also got a filter by tags option at the side here as well. So if we have tagged the maintenance issue, we can also filter by that tag as well. And we can also search as well. So if you want to search for any particular sort of title of a maintenance issue, you can start to type it there and it will find those maintenance issues for you. We've also got an archive only tag as well. So when you've taken a maintenance issue through the maintenance workflow and it is marked as completed, if you then archive that completed issue, it will then appear with the archived only tag toggle. So if I switch that toggle on, it will then load in all of the maintenance issues that I have archived. You've also got a couple of other tags, toggles at the side here as well. So we can toggle by maintenance issues that are missing financial items. We can also toggle with unpaid invoices only as well. The flow of the maintenance issues go from reported. So we can look at reported. If we expand that, we've got a couple of subcategories. So we can see what has been reported by the tenant, what has been reported by yourselves as the manager. We also have in progress, so we can see what is in progress, but with us as the manager, what is with the supplier, what is with the owner, what is scheduled, and what is awaiting parts. If we look at the carried out category, we can see that we have a couple awaiting approval, awaiting invoice, awaiting other, or any that are completed. And the final category is deferred. Now, deferred maintenance issues are things that you do want to track, but you're not immediately seeing that through to be actually completed. You might be waiting for something, like if it's an issue to do with the garden, you might be waiting for the weather to get better. If you're waiting for, painting a room, you're probably going to wait for a tenant to move out or something like that. So you can actually push the maintenance issue to deferred, which means it does stay on the system and it doesn't get forgotten about. And at the bottom here, you can, of course, export to CSV. In the top right-hand corner, we also have the maintenance settings cog, which I am going to be covering in a little bit of detail later on. So the next thing that we're going to look at is actually adding a maintenance issue. I'm going to show you this, what it looks like from your side as the manager, as well as looking at a tenant's My COHO dashboard and having a look to see what they can see as well. So to add a maintenance issue, we're going to click Add Maintenance Issue. Now, underneath, you'll see that we have a bunch of categories, and within those categories, there are further items. So, for example, if we're looking at appliances, it contains 6 items. It's probably going to be fridge, freezer, dishwasher, washing machine, etc. You can also search for a particular type of category as well, so you can find them quite easily. I'm going to go with the internet because it's a really, really good place to start, especially when it comes to auto responses and things like that. So if we click on internet, there's our 4 items. We've got internet not working, the internet slower than expected, the router's damaged or missing, or we've got other. So I'm going to go for the internet is not working. Now, as the manager, we can also select the severity of the issue. We've got low, we've got medium, and we've got high. This would naturally be a low severity issue, and we're going to click next. So the next thing that we need to do is actually select the property that we're actually raising the maintenance issue for. So I've got a drop-down box here. So I'm going to select 4 Bromwich Road, and I'm going to click next. The next section that we're looking at is being able to add manager notes. It says they're not visible to tenants. So if we want to give a little bit more context as to what is actually happening with the internet, maybe what we've done so far, anything like that, you can add your manager notes in. And we can also upload any images and videos in support of this maintenance issue. If we then click next, we then get asked, are we creating this on behalf of the tenant? Yes or no. So if a tenant has reached out to you directly by some other means, you might want to actually add it as a maintenance issue from your side and actually say it has been reported by the tenant. And if we do say yes, we can also then specify the tenant that actually reported this to us. And if we do this, we can actually share it with that tenant via their My COHO dashboard. So they're fully aware that it's been reported, it's been picked up, and they can obviously see the progress of that maintenance issue as we go along. I'm going to then click next. And you can see now that we've got the internet's not working, our severity, the property address, and that it is private and it's been reported by this tenant. Now, at this point, we can also assign the maintenance issue to a particular team member. You don't need to assign it if you don't want to. We can leave it blank, but I'm going to select David there and click Add. So if we look at the reported, we've got one that is reported by the tenant. So I'm going to just expand this and let you look at what it actually looks like on the system when you have a maintenance issue that's been reported by a tenant. So as you can see here, I've clicked on the one that is by the tenant. I can assign that issue to a team member. I've also got a job number, which COHO creates automatically for us. I've also got the title. If it was room related, that would be there as well. And I can see when it was created and the severity. And if I click anywhere on this bar, I can then expand all of the information that has been actually entered onto the system. So again, my job number, it's reported. I can change the severity there. The visibility is also quite important. So it's visible only to us as the manager. If I actually click on that little icon at the side, I can also make this issue available to everybody in the property because it's not tenant specific. So I can make sure that everybody can see that issue. I can also put in a target date as well. So if I think, well, I can go out to the property and actually have a look at this issue myself, I can put in a target date there. And I can also share that date with the housemates. So they're fully aware that somebody is coming out to the property to have a look at the issue. Now at the bottom here, I can obviously click begin and assign that issue to myself, which will move it along the workflow to in progress. I can assign it to a team member. I can also get owner approval, and I can also send the supplier the issue as well. I can see the request message as well. So that was what the tenant put into the notes box to give us more context about what the issue is that they're facing. We can also add some internal notes as well. So internal notes are just to you as a manager and other team members that also have access to your COHO account. So we can click the edit icon, put some additional notes in there as well. We've got public files. So if we did want to add any files on in support of this maintenance issue, we can drop those in. And we've also got manager only files, which obviously public files, they will be seen by suppliers if you're sending it. If you're involving tenants, they will also see those. Manager only files are files just for you and your team to look at. At the bottom, we've got the property owner's information. So this ties into the property ownership panel. I'm not going to be going into any detail on the property ownership panel at this stage, but if you have added that information in on the property ownership panel, you will see that information appear here as well. And then also no manager assigned. So again, another option to actually assign this to us or another team member that also has access to the COHO account. On the right-hand side here, this is a common theme throughout COHO. It's not just here on the maintenance issues. You'll also find it on the onboarding. You'll also find it on tenant find. You'll find it on rent collection. But it's a history and also another tab with the housemates, which I'll talk about in just a second. But the history keeps a log. So every time we interact with this maintenance issue, so we assign a team member or we send it out to a supplier, it will automatically log what has happened there at the side, and it will date and timestamp it for us, which is really, really useful. You can also add in your own notes here and add them on, which again will be date and time stamped. If we click on the housemates tab, if we have shared this maintenance issue with the tenants, we might also want to have a little bit of a conversation with them in regards to this issue that they've raised. So we will be able to actually have that conversation here. You can also drop into your message center. You will find that maintenance issue is there as well. You can send messages via conversation within the message center, and you will also have all of the information on the maintenance issue on the right-hand side within the message center. We've also got job sheet here as well. So if you do want to create a job sheet and open that up, you can in fact do that. And if we click job sheet here, it will open up a new tab for us and give us all of the information that we've got about this maintenance issue. And we can actually interact with this. We can do things like hide in the organization name, hide in property images as well. We can hide access codes. We can hide occupants, and we've also got the history at the bottom there. All of this is customizable, and we can hide it if you do not want to share it. This can be really useful if you actually want to share it to suppliers via WhatsApp or via email or something like that. Basically, if you don't want to send them an email with the link to click that brings them into their supplier's dashboard, you can do it by other means as well. So if we click print, you can do the classic print as PDF and send it over to them. And again, we can hide buttons. We can also have a compact view, see a full view, and we can reduce tenants' personal information as well. So I'm now in a tenant's account. As you can see, they've got their My COHO at the top. And if they scroll down very slightly, they've got two areas actually where they can raise maintenance issues. So they can click report issue, or they can actually scroll down to their maintenance panel and click report maintenance issue. So if I click report maintenance issue, you'll see now they've got all of those categories, for example. So exactly the same as what you're seeing on your side. I can click internet, the internet not working here. Now, as a tenant, you can select the severity. That obviously can be changed when that issue comes through to you. They can also put in a description. You'll see that it's required, so they will need to give a little bit more context as to what they're actually reporting. They can also upload images and files, as can yourselves as well. They can also then say, does this impact your room specifically? So they can say it's just my room, or they can actually say it is outside of their room. And they can also choose to share it with the other housemates. So if it is a communal issue, you know, the washing machine's leaked, the internet's not working, that would affect everybody in the house. So it can be quite useful that it is also shared with the other housemates that they share the property with. Obviously, if they choose not to share it, you can then share it when it does come through to you. As you can see, it pulls them through to the message center here as well. This is pretty much exactly the same as what it looks like on the manager's side. So I've got my maintenance issue on the side there. If there was any conversation, which there is because I have put the internet is not working, and I can also see further information about the maintenance issue on the right-hand side. If I come back to my dashboard and scroll down to the maintenance panel, you'll now see that I can still report another maintenance issue if I want to, but I now have reported, in progress and completed. So if I click on the one that has been reported, I can then click view and expand all of the information and see exactly what is going on. Obviously, it is limited on your side. They haven't got access to, you know, what supplier it's gone out to or anything like that. It is just the basic information that they have added onto the maintenance issue at the time of it being reported. I'm now going to look at the reported issue for the internet and the internet not working here. So it falls into the reported category. It's reported by the manager. There's my issue. And again, I'm going to expand this and I'm actually going to start pushing this maintenance issue forward. So as you can see here, we can defer it. We can simply mark it as completed and we can archive it. We can also delete it entirely as well. We've got our log there at the side, so we know exactly what's happened so far. And I'm going to click begin to start investigating. I'm going to confirm that. And it will now fall into the in progress category as well. So in progress, and it is with us, the manager still. I'm going to expand this again. And as you can see now, it is investigating. I can schedule the job. If I click schedule job, I've got a date and a time field that I can fill in. I can also say that I'm awaiting parts as well. So I can put in a date that I'm expecting the parts to arrive by. I can also request owner approval as well. As you can see, I've got a little box there where I can put in create a conversation with the owner, giving them the reason as to why I need their owner approval. And I can also choose the supplier. So if I click the supplier box, as you can see, we do have a drop-down box here. So I can choose a supplier that is already on the system. And if you haven't already added your suppliers, you can add them all via the suppliers panel, which is towards the bottom of the page. We can also add them on straight away from here as well. So if you haven't added them via the suppliers panel, you can, of course, add them on there. So in this instance, I'm going to choose the supplier. It's now asking me, do I want to share this issue with the supplier? Sharing will send an email and an SMS if the contact details are available, allowing the supplier to directly respond to the issue themselves. So you've got yes or no. So you don't have to send it directly out to supplier. Like I said before, you can print preview the job sheet or send it over to them via some other means. I'm going to click yes. As you can see, the email address is populated for me, and I can also start an opening conversation. And I can also create a conversation between the supplier and the tenants as well. So they can actually have a conversation, arrange when they're going to come out to the property, etc. We can also say if the supplier has already accepted the issue. So you can say yes if maybe you've already spoken to them beforehand, but you still wanted to log it on COHO and send it over to them. Or you can say no, we have not had the confirmation yet. I'm going to click confirm, and now it is set and sent over to a supplier. So I've sent the issue directly over to a supplier. The supplier has got an email. There is a button to click called View Details, where they can open up this page that we are looking at here. They've also got a browser link as well. So if they wanted to copy and paste the browser link, they can also do that. So it's dropped me into the supplier's dashboard here. This is what it looks like. Suppliers do not need to create an account on COHO. Just letting you know that straight away. So they don't need a COHO account to be able to access any and all issues that you do send over to them. I can see the job reference number, the company as well that has reported the issue, the property, what the issue actually is, the severity and the status there. So as you can see, there's a couple of things that we can do. We can click to begin. We can mark the job as complete straight away, or we can actually reject this job as a supplier. If we don't feel like we can do it, or we haven't got enough time to, for example, we can actually reject the job. If there was any information, as in if I'd have put in any description, we would be able to see that as well. We would also be able to see if there was an estimate, and we can also view any messages that are sent by the manager. Now, if we had created this and allowed for the tenants to also be involved in a conversation between themselves and the supplier, there'll be another blue box that appears here where they can click to see the conversations with the tenants. And we've also got the history there at the bottom that they can also see. Now, just before I click on any of these buttons, I do want to just click View Dashboard. So if I click View Dashboard, it will actually show me all of the jobs that I've been sent. So if you have sent multiple maintenance issues to one supplier, they will obviously have emails coming through with the links to click. They don't need to click the individual email that relates to the individual issue. They can just come through on any link, click the dashboard, and then actually see all of the issues down at the bottom there, and they can click through to the appropriate maintenance issue. So from here, I can click Begin. So clicking Begin means I'm going to accept the job, and I'm going to indicate that I'm going to start investigating. So I'm going to click Confirm. Now, as you can see, there are a few more things that I can do. I can still reject the job. I can still mark it as complete straight away as well. But what I can do as a supplier is I can put in an estimate. By completing this, it will obviously be visible to you as the manager on your side. You'll see any estimates that suppliers add in. I can also indicate that I'm also awaiting parts, for example. So I can also schedule the job. So I can say I'm going to go out to the property at maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to click confirm. Now, as you can see, again, I can still put estimates in. I can say that I'm awaiting parts. I can also reschedule the job as well, or I can just unschedule it entirely. Again, I can complete it, reject it, and I can also alert tenants as well. So I can serve notice to the tenants that I'm expecting to come out to the property. Now, if you have invited your owners, so they have access to their owner dashboard, they will also be notified if you have shared maintenance issues with them. Like I said, you can set up that information of if or if not they are being shared maintenance issues directly on your property ownership panel on the property that they actually own. There is a question there saying, do you want to share maintenance issues with the owner? And it is a yes or no question. If you say yes to that question, any maintenance issue that gets reported by a tenant or by yourselves as the manager will be automatically shared with them. If you say no, that you do not want to share maintenance issues with them, you can share them as the maintenance issue comes through. So on an ad hoc or case-by-case basis. So from the owner dashboard, it is really, really easy. If they come down to their little actions panel at the bottom there, they will be able to click in the maintenance category, see the maintenance issue, and give owner approval from there. So I've now just completed the job from the suppliers panel. And if we go back to the actual manager's side, we can actually see that the job has been completed. So, I mean, from here, we can archive it still, we can restart the job, we can again send it to another supplier if we needed to. We can also add an invoice on, which will add it as a financial item onto the finances panel as well. And we've still got all of our information there. So had we added some notes in, we would see that, any files. We can still see the supplier's information. We can also alert the tenants from here as well. So prior to it being completed, we could actually alert the tenants that the supplier was coming out to the property. And we can do that via email. So without actually making it visible to all of the tenants in the property. Again, we've still got our property owner and it is assigned to us as the manager. Again, all of the workflow that we've interacted with. So as we have clicked buttons over here, we've sort of sent it for owner approval and looped in suppliers, etc. It will all be logged at the side there. We're now actually going to look at the maintenance settings cogs. Now I say cogs because you've got different options on the maintenance settings cog for the organization. Then if you click into a property, which I will be showing you, and click on the maintenance settings cog for the property, you've actually got a couple of different options there as well. So again, I'm staying on the main portfolio page. So again, logging into the account, coming straight down to the maintenance panel, and we're going to look at the settings cog in the corner here. So we've got three categories. We've got maintenance categories, default troubleshooting cards, and we've also got reporting URL. If I click on the maintenance categories, what we can actually do here is go into each individual category and each individual item and set up auto response messages, which can be really, really useful. You can do things like asking them to go through a series of steps to help to resolve the maintenance issue. You can also set up auto response messages to ask for further information, for example, if you needed makes and models and serial numbers of items, for example, to just give you as much information as you can possibly get in order to resolve that issue for them. Again, I'm going to click on the internet because I do think this is an absolute classic, really. I can guarantee you that if any one of your tenants reported that the internet is not working, and that's all they said, probably the first thing you're going to ask them is, have they tried resetting the router? Have they turned it off, waited for maybe a minute, and then maybe switched it back on again to see if that does resolve the issue? So what we can do here is set up an auto response message. I've clicked on internet. Here's our 4 items within the category. So I'm going to go for internet not working, and I'm going to click edit at the top there. So the first thing that we can do is preset the severity of the issue, which can be really quite useful. And we've got a couple of toggles here. So if I turn on the toggle for setting a specific auto response message, I can type my message in there, which would be something like turn the router off by the button on the back of the router, leave it for 30 seconds to a minute, and then turn it back on again, wait for the router to boot up fully, and then to let you know if that has actually resolved the issue. We can also toddle on requiring an image when uploading the maintenance issue as well. Maybe not so much needed in the case of the internet, but if you wanted to look at how broken something was or how damaged something was, maybe on another category or item, then you can also request an image upload as well. So by using the auto responses, then if a tenant was to log into their dashboard, for example, and report that the internet is not working, at the point that they submit that maintenance issue, the first thing that they're going to get in the conversation is that auto response message that you've set up for them. The other thing that we can do is look at troubleshooting cards as well. So for example, you can add in a title, a description, you can upload any images or any files. We also have the option of being able to put in a YouTube URL. Now, it does need to be done in a specific way because it does need to be an embed video URL that you enter into that, of which you will find more information on our product guide for how to get an embed link for usual videos on YouTube, and an embed link as to how to get a short from YouTube as well. So if you are looking to utilize the video URLs, definitely do have a look at the troubleshooting guides and the product guides that we've got covering that to make sure that you are putting in the correct URL. So again, by adding in a troubleshooting card at the point that they submit that maintenance issue, they will be greeted by that troubleshooting card as well. So again, you can give them further information on, again, how to reset the router or how to change boiler pressures, things like that. They can be really, really useful. The other thing that you can do is actually add your own subcategories on here as well. So COHO has got all of these ones by default, but if there is anything else that you've got in your property or any other categories that you do want to add onto the system automatically, you can, of course, add those on there. The next one down is default troubleshooting cards. Now, these have been generated by COHO. So COHO can help you provide default in troubleshooting cards and steps to tenants. And we can actually read more here. There is a full list. So if you do want to have a look at what we've put in by default and want to use those, I would definitely recommend coming to that settings cog, open up the default troubleshooting cards category here and have a look at the list. As you can see, there are 98 common issues that we've actually added in. That can obviously save you time of actually adding in your own troubleshooting cards via the maintenance categories there. And then also right down at the bottom, we've got the reporting URL. So we do obviously accept that some tenants can't or won't, for whatever reason, accept those invites that you've sent them so they have access to their dashboard. I will always remain a huge champion of trying to get your tenants into the system, because it's not just, the maintenance side. They can communicate with you well through the app. They can look at their rent schedules, compliance. So there is lots and lots of benefits to getting as many of your tenants into the system as possible. But where that isn't possible, you can, of course, provide them with an individual property link as well. So it will generate a link for a specific property. You can share that link with them. You can also use a QR code as well. So these can be quite useful to print out, put on a notice board, maybe at the property. So tenants do not need to have a COHO account to report maintenance issues. They can just use the reporting link or the QR code, and it will allow them to log the maintenance issue, which you will then see reflected back into your account. So I've now just clicked through to a property within my account, and I'm going to show you what you've got at the maintenance settings cog at property level. Now, do emphasize this, because a few people do get confused about where the auto responses are and where other settings are, and that will be the main difference. So I've just shown you the maintenance settings cog on the main portfolio page. I'm now going to show you what the differences are when you click into a property and then go down to the maintenance panel. and actually have a look at the COG at property level. So if I click on the COG here, you've actually got two toggles. So the first toggle is, would we like to add a auto response in for a new maintenance issue? So just to elaborate here, the maintenance auto response messages that you've got at organizational level, they are for the individual maintenance categories and the items within those categories. When you click into a property and then toggle on that, would you like to auto respond to a new maintenance issue? This is not issue specific. So you might put something in here that says something along the lines of, thank you for reporting a maintenance issue. A member of the team will get back to you, within 24, 48 hours. So it is a very generic auto response to the maintenance issue that is being logged on the system. The other option that you've got down at the bottom here is we do have an integration with Help Me Fix. So Help Me Fix connects tenants directly to tradespeople over video to reduce call-out charges and maintenance headaches, as it says there. So you do need an account with Help Me Fix, and you can then put in your credentials via the property maintenance settings cog in order to directly direct your tenants over to tradespeople over video, like it does say. And tradespeople on the other end of that video call can actually guide tenants in able to resolve issues, which obviously can reduce call out charges and potentially save you, lots and lots of money in the long run. So you do need a Help Me Fix account, like I said. You can request a demo of Help Me Fix from here. By clicking here, it will direct you directly to Help Me Fix's main page where you're able to request a demo. And we can toggle this on here, and we can put in our Help Me Fix customer ID when we've got one. And we can also allow tenants to bypass Help Me Fix video call and log it directly as well. So whatever options you need there, you can specify those accordingly. And then, of course, looking at settings cog, I will always emphasize the saving options down at the bottom there. Saving these options will save it on the property that you're on, or you can save this across all of your properties across the entire portfolio. I hope that's covered all of the maintenance panels in COHO and given you an idea of what you can do, who can see what at what time. Obviously, it is a completely flexible workflow there. But if anybody does have any questions, then I will be on this webinar waiting to take your questions. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.